Get ready to drop your favorite first-person shooter. Yeah, it's that good. Contractors Showdown hits all the necessities while bringing in its own flair to the Battle Royale style play. Every match starts off pumping with adrenaline as you drop from the sky looking for guns, grenades, money, and I'll get to what money's for in a minute. Flashbangs, armor, just whatever you can find to push the match in your favor. The map is 16 square kilometers, which is just over 6 miles, and is a battlefield to 60 different players. There's everything from tennis courts to mountains, a graveyard, warehouses. It feels like a post-apocalyptic island that was an entire town. The graphics could be better, but honestly, I wasn't focused on that. The character models are decent enough, the guns are great, the terrain's kinda hit or miss, but for the most part, I was pleased with the visuals for a very large battle royale in standalone VR. Oh, and stick around and I'll tell you how to get a 25% discount on Contractors Showdown. And let me know in the comments what you think of this game. So when the match starts, you're on a team of 3, and just like any battle royale, you're tasked with surviving until the end. There's a circle that gets smaller and smaller that you have to stay in, or if you're outside of the circle, you take damage and eventually die. Dying isn't always the end though. This game has a few different ways to revive. For one thing, once you're killed, you actually have a chance to get revived by a player in a short window of time. Just make sure it's your actual teammate.
Bro, I'm not your guy, man. That was hilarious.
Or you might have a special stim pack that you can use after you've been knocked down. It's also possible to find a blue kiosk and purchase insurance of varying levels, and you can also use it to revive your teammates. Money might be easy to find, or it may take a while. If you pull out the M.I.C.A off your chest, you can see where weapons and insurance kiosks are at in proximity to you, how much money you have, and you can also see how many players are left and where the current circle and next circle will be. Before entering a match, you're actually thrown into a lobby for a couple of minutes. You automatically have a weapon here, but the kills don't matter. This is just a warm-up. You can also practice parachuting every time you revive. Not to mention, shooting while falling is extremely difficult, but totally worth it when it works. Now, when the match officially starts, you and your team launch from an airplane in the sky, free falling to the destination of your choice. But make sure you're being mindful of where enemies are deploying to. You might accidentally drop in a place where an opposing team is already geared up. Avoid high places and coordinate with your team before you start. The parachute works pretty well. If you push your hands forward, you speed up. But if you pull them back, you slow down. You can also turn the parachute in any direction with the handles. This is useful for more than just the initial deployment. Anytime you die, you come back by parachute. And you can also either drop off a cliff to parachute, or you can find a redeployment wire to grab onto. There's a few of these zip lines that help you get up various cliffs and obstacles on the map. I really like the redeployment zones. They helped me get out of the circle several times when I was in too deep. If you like what you're seeing so far, stick around and I'll tell you how to get that discount. I enjoyed the backpack style on this game. It only holds a small amount of stuff, but I like that you pull it from your shoulder instead of pushing a button like in Population 1. The guns are great. They shoot well, recoil is varied and realistic. I like how easy it is to pick up weapons. I like how many choices there are. There is one aspect of the guns I don't like. I feel like the sights are hard to look at, but in VR, most games with realistic sights are difficult. There's just not enough pixels. But here's another cool thing about this game. If you're used to playing Population 1, those guns have the sights they have. But in Contractors, you can find different sights to put on your guns, which actually improves that initial problem for me quite a bit. The armor is a little weird, but once you get used to it, it's not that big of a deal. You have to take the plate and do a sideways motion with it to load your gear with your armor. There's also armor extensions you can pick up that allow you to hold more than just the initial 2 plates. I really enjoyed the customization. You have a choice of several different characters to choose from, and each character has their own skins you can get. You can also get skins for your weapons, and you can even get it for your M.I.C.A, which, by the way, is an awesome part of the game. The M.I.C.A or M.I.C.A, however it's pronounced, doesn't just tell you how many enemies there are. It has other functions as well. If you find little chips, you can put them in your M.I.C.A and perform different things like airstrike deployment. That is definitely going to be a fun toy to play with as I get better at this game. As far as glitches go, I didn't really have any when I was playing. I heard someone else say they couldn't get the sliding to work, but I think he figured it out. And oh yeah, you can walk, run, sprint, and yes, slide in this game in addition to parachuting. You walk by moving your joystick, you run by clicking it down, and you sprint by double-clicking it down. And if you want to slide, you pull down on your right joystick. The movement is customizable in the settings. By the way, the starter settings are horrible, but the menu is easy enough to figure out what you like. The tutorial was easy. The only difficulties I had was the M.I.C.A, but only because the concept was kind of new to me. Let me know in the comments if you've played a game that has a device like this. I also discovered that the grenades throw much easier if you underhand them, but that's probably just me. Every time I overhanded them, they just went straight to the ground. There's also a training area, which is where you can access all of your skins and upgrades. I'm not sure if I like that it's so spread out. I feel like it could have been a little closer together, but at the same time, it's fun to parachute off the helipad to practice accurate landing. If I had to describe this game, I'd say the game is almost like they took Ghosts of Tabor, merged it with Population 1, then made something awesome with that template.
Yeah! Winner, winner! Nice, super hippie man.